are listening to the Intuitive Healing Connection, where intuitive healing connects with everyday living. Hi, my name is Gina Strole, and I am your host. I am best known as the down-to-earth energy healer that doesn't sugarcoat the truth. I walk my clients through the healing process so they can find freedom from their emotional pain, heal from their past, and find peace and joy again. If you are interested in healing your emotional past, tapping into your spiritual side to receive your own answers, finding your own clarity, and discovering your own spiritual truths, then you are in the right place. I am here to lead the way and to help you discover your own intuitive healing connection. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Intuitive Healing Connection podcast. I am so excited that you're here, and I am super excited to bring you another series of all about intuitive healing. So most of you know I am an intuitive healer. If you've been listening to me for a while, this is my jam. This is what I do. This is what I love to do. I get to spend my time every day helping people live their best life and helping them rediscover these parts of themselves that have been lost over the years through situations and traumas and grief and pain, and really step into true happiness. That's how I view healing. So I want to talk about intuitive healing, really what it is, and how it can help you. Because I think it's important. Sometimes we don't really understand, we have all these healing modalities. We sometimes don't understand why we would want something like that or why we would need it. Even if we're drawn to it, there's sometimes that little bit of resistance in there, and maybe, it wouldn't work for me, or, maybe it's not best for you. I know when I found intuitive healing, I had been to therapists, counselors, I had tried the normal route of healing, and I just didn't seem to be getting where I wanted to be. I wanted to let go, literally, let go of the feelings and the hurt and the sadness and the sorrow. And I felt like a lot of times when I went in and sat in these other sessions that I literally described it like taking in my backpack full of rocks, opening up my backpack of rocks, pulling out each rock, talking about the rock, setting it on the table, pulling out the next rock, describing that rock, describing what it was, putting it on the table, and doing this several times through several sessions or, whatever. And then picking those rocks back up and putting it back in the backpack, putting that backpack on and taking it back home. And I didn't realize that at the time, but looking back on it since finding intuitive healing in my life and really embracing intuitive healing and embracing the areas of healing that I have received through intuitive healing. And now that I've moved on to help my clients release those things in there, I realized that for me, going to traditional therapies and things felt like this backpack story of, taking out the rocks and talking about them, but then putting them back in and ultimately taking them back home with me. To me, with intuitive healing, I feel like we actually bring the backpack of rocks with us, but we leave those rocks behind with every session. We work on each one of those rocks. We release the connections, the ties, the cords that are attached to those, the thoughts and the beliefs, and leave those rocks behind because we didn't need them to begin with. And so for me, that's where intuitive healing really stood out for me. I've been in the intuitive healing world for almost 20 years now. It's been a long time for me, and there is no going back. There is no looking back for me. There is no, looking for some other method, because to me, this is the method that has worked for me. It is the method that I use with my clients, and it has been very beneficial for me and my life and being able to make the changes that I wanted to see. It's not that we are broken. It's that we need to remember who we are. It's that we need to remember where we came from and why we're here, and let go of the heavy belief systems and things that maybe have been imposed on us by our family, by our culture, by our social beliefs, and really start to ask ourselves, what do we want? How do we want to show up in this life? What do we want things to look like? Because I know for me and the people that I see, they just want to find peace. They want to be able to be happy, to step into joyfulness, to be able to embrace all aspects of life, no matter what it is. There's nothing good or bad, but embrace all of those and be okay to just be in it, whatever that is for you. For me, my goal over the years has been to really embrace my life and find this happiness, just like what I told you, but also to be okay with when things are not okay. And just to know that there is hope, that this is just a bump in the road and we're going to make it through. I think when you understand the whole spiritual picture and why you're here, it makes life a little easier to swallow. You know, it's not that we don't ever have bumps in the road when we've done our healing work. It's not that you're never going to experience sadness and sorrow and grief. It's just that you understand that there's a bigger picture. There's a bigger reason. There's really a bigger reason that you're going through the things that you're going through. And if you can learn to start asking the right questions, releasing those emotions, really start embracing yourself, this is where we really start living life. And that is the part that I love about intuitive healing, because it really allows you to start living life, maybe for the first time in your life. I know me, I'm 50 years old now. I turned 50 this year, and I understand and know how to embrace life. And I love teaching other people how to do that same thing. So let's talk about, one thing that I want you to understand is us in our own human mind, we only see what we want to see. We only see the parts that we want to see. The cool thing about being an intuitive healer is she will help you see the deeper parts that you are unable to see. And that's the cool thing that I love about being able to connect with people on that healing level, on that intuitive healing level, that intuitive vibration, really tapping into their thoughts, their emotions, their beliefs, the things that they are struggling with, and being able to help them give that words, give that a voice, because it's really what it's all about. The thing that I love that I can do is that I help people stop lying to themselves. And I know you're going to be like, ooh, that's harsh. We all do it. We all do not want to accept the fact that maybe, we have judgments against ourselves and others, that, we have some things going on. We have beliefs about things that are going on in the world and things that are going on around, and what we believe about people in general, and what we just can all be addressed on an energetic level. And the cool thing is once you release that and let it go, it is the coolest thing ever, because it's simply gone. It changes the way that we see the world. And that is what I never got in traditional therapies. It really did not change, my opinion. And the cool thing is that it's kind of easy. When you go and release all the garbage that's holding you from getting there, you just kind of wake up and see the world very differently. And this is what I love about intuitive healing. So I want to help you get to that place. Let's talk about all the different parts of this, but I want to help you get to that place where you can know that it's okay to step in. It's okay to go and allow someone to help you work through all of these things, because even me doing all this work for this long, I still see a healer. And I change it up, because I want a high healer. I want someone who is here with that high vibrant energy, because there are different types of healers as well. If you caught my mediumship podcast series, there's different types of mediums. There are different types of healers as well. And I look for and strive for in myself to be that high healer, to be that person who is hopeful, who is inspirational, who is helpful, but also my energy is high vibing so that I can dig in deep to your energy and help you get the best results possible. And and sometimes that can be a little bit of a bumpy path. We don't always want to look at our dirt. Nobody wants to look at the dirt. Even the dirt in your house, you want to sweep it under the rug and we want to ignore it. The dirt isn't bad. This is just it. The dirt isn't bad. The dirt was there for a reason. And I know that sounds crazy, but the dirt in your house comes in off your shoes and it comes in, for a reason. The same thing with your baggage or with the dirt and this buildup that gets inside of us. It's been there for a reason. It has helped you get to where you are today. It could have been your coping mechanism, the only way that you made through. If you become a people pleaser, if you have a hard time setting boundaries, if you are struggling being in relationships, there's a reason that you're there, but it's been your way that has got you to where you are today. It was fine. Up until now, it was much needed. But once you understand that you don't need those mechanisms to hide behind anymore, that you don't need to run from those things anymore, once you get that, you're willing to let all those things go. And a high healer, someone who has high vibe and energies, who's here to help you really heal from the inside out, will help you see that and help you understand that, help you see the bigger picture in this world. And that's what I strive to do every single day, because I want people to understand. I want you to understand. I want my clients to understand that you're not a mistake. There are no mistakes. Everything that you have been through is perfect for you up to this point. What are you going to do with all of that baggage and the emotions? You can choose to stay where you're at. We can choose to run from it. We can choose to hide from it and think that we're somehow need to be ashamed and scared of it, which is not what I want you to do, because I know that you have nothing to hide from. You have nothing to be ashamed of. I don't care how many divorces you've been through. I don't care how many, your dad left, your parents left, didn't feel loved, you didn't feel, I do care about all that, but I don't, because it doesn't make you the person that you are. It doesn't make you anything less. It's just created the person that you are today, which is perfect. And we can start moving forward from here, really recreating that person, allow you to uncover your true spiritual nature. And that's what I think intuitive healing is. It's really uncovering, backing out of the traumas, backing out of our conflicts, backing out of these coping mechanisms that we have picked up on or decided that we've needed to have in order to help us to feel safe and secure, because that's a big part of this. We've done whatever it took to help us feel safe and secure in the moment. That was great. At the time, it is absolutely what you needed. But now we can learn easier ways of being, because when we let go of these old ways, it is easier to be you. It is easier to step into the authentic you. It is easier to realize that you don't have to go around being a people pleaser anymore and doing what everybody else is telling you to do and just saying yes, 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 when you need to be saying hell to the no, and really just embracing this new part of you and doing it guilt-free, shame-free, being open, being honest, being available, being here, being grounded in this place. And that's what intuitive healing can do for you. So how does this all work? When I meet with people, the first thing that I always do, if it's a first session with you, if I have never seen you before, I will tap into your energy and I will start, this is what I'm getting. So I'll start reading your energy field. This is what I'm getting. This is what you're feeling. This is what's going on. You're overwhelmed. You're feeling like, you don't matter. There's been some grief going on. I can feel some big losses in there. I can feel, and I really start tapping into the parts of you that are coming up for you today that need an energy release. Because usually when we're just starting off seeing each other, what you need is a big dump. You really need to just dump a whole bunch of energy, because what has happened is over time you have taken on all these layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and belief systems and thoughts, and they don't have anywhere to go. And so usually the first time people come see me, they really don't know why they're coming to see me, but they feel guided to come and see me. That's usually kind of the first clue. They know that something's off. They don't really know what is off. They know that they probably don't have a very good relationship with their mom or their dad, but they really don't understand the total scheme or the big picture here of what really needs to be healed. And that's okay. You're not going to understand that because, just like I said, we only see the parts of ourselves that we want to see. It's harder. You've been hiding from that for so long. Why would you understand it? So the first thing that I would do is help give those emotions words. And I love doing this because people are like, oh my gosh, yes, that is exactly how I feel. I do feel underappreciated. I do feel all of these things. And the first really big step in seeing a healer, someone like me, would be this step of really taking an emotional dump. And I mean that literally, like we're going to dump a massive amount of energy for you. That first session, you should walk away feeling so much lighter. You should go home and probably sleep like really, really well that night for the first time in a long time. Because for the first time in a long time, your body can relax. Your body has space to relax. Your body has a place to open up and really just be okay to be just like you are right now. And I love that the first session. Those first few sessions that we do this, I call this the healing high afterwards, because it really is like being on a high. For the first time in your life, you feel light. It's easy to feel gratitude. It's easier to step in and be grounded in your body. It's easier to feel all of these things, and you feel really good. Some people, it takes them after the session, there's an integration process. I talk to all of my clients about this. Some of us, it takes us, I have clients who take 2 weeks to get to that healing high. I have other clients who are there right in the very beginning. They just roll into that healing high. So that really is kind of a personal thing for some people when they leave a session with me. They go home and they have the diarrhea because literally we just took a dump. It is your body's, that's why I say it that way. It is your body's way of energetically releasing all of those emotions. Energy is fast. I say this all the time. Our physical body is slower, so it takes it a little bit longer. But I have clients who go home, they're super tired. They might need to take a nap that afternoon. If you're going to schedule a session with me, I would probably, if you can, have some time after the session to kind of regroup for a minute. And, if you have to run back to work, sometimes we have to do life, but if you can kind of schedule your life around that when you're first doing intuitive healing, so you know what's coming, how you react to that kind of energy healing, because really we're calling in the most highest healing power there is to help you release all of this garbage. And as we do that, there's usually some, we'll call them side effects on the side. They're good side effects, but it can affect people in different ways. I have people who get super thirsty. They don't get the diarrhea. They want to drink a whole 5 gallons of water. You honor that. You do it. It's your body's way of flushing that out. The people who just need a nap, they need to go home. They have to rest. They need to, sometimes we just need to take care of ourselves. In other sessions, if I do inner child healing, it's really listening to that inner child and honoring those feelings. If she wants chocolate, sometimes we go embrace the chocolate or the ice cream, or we do those things knowing that we're doing it to help that healing process along. And that's something we'll talk about later on down the road. But anyway, so that's kind of what you can expect after those first sessions. And sometimes we have to do a few of those. If you've never done intuitive healing or you haven't been accustomed of releasing these emotions and these feelings and these thoughts that you're having and being okay to be in that, sometimes it takes a little bit of time. Healing definitely is like the layers of an onion, and we definitely peel them back slowly. We don't just rip them off. I never go in and do anything. I follow your energy. I follow what you're telling me that you're ready to do, because that is very important as well. In these beginning stages, you are not ready to deep dive into, healing the relationship with your parents, or, childhood traumas, or sometimes they do come up a little bit. We scratch the surface sometimes, depending on what's going on in your life. But we really start peeling those layers back slowly and helping you work through those emotions, and doing it with a support system with me, so that you have someone there helping you work through them. So, after we get through those first couple of sessions, we can dive into more. And like I say, everybody is different. It just kind of depends on the situation. But then usually we start doing a lot more inner child healing, which this is where you start seeing the magic happen. And this is where we start connecting with your inner child, healing those parts of you. A lot of times in my VIP class, I do timeline healing. And this is where we heal those inner parts, the timeline. There's a sequence of events for you. And we can go in and connect with each one of those timeline points. And I do this in healing sessions too. I just do it in a different way. If you're not in a class, in a VIP class with me, or doing one of my healing courses, I do this in a little bit different way when we do it privately together. I do it with you and we go through this whole process, but it really is connecting with each one of those areas of you, really going in. And it's interesting to me too. This is where it gets so fun, because in these sessions, after we've kind of filled away and we've been working together for a little bit, I will ask you what's going on in your life. So the minute that we connect on a Zoom call, I'll ask you what's going on in your life. What are the thoughts? What are the feelings? What's going on? What are you struggling with? Because that is where our energy is leading us to this next part of healing for you, what is ready for you to heal. So we'll start talking about those. That'll be the first thing I ask you. So what's going on in life? Tell me what's going on. What are the thoughts, feelings, how are your relationships, whatever it is that's coming up for you. Those always lead back to some point earlier on in your life where you took on a belief system, where something has triggered you. There's something that is coming up there that needs to be released. So this is where we can go back in. This is where it is helpful, so helpful to have a healer by your side, because we can literally go back in, retrace those moments. We don't have to go back and relive them. We just go back and release the energy. And how we do that is asking you what you needed. What did you need at that time? What was the situation? Whether or not, I'll just use some examples here. I have a client that she would get sent to her room a lot when she was younger. So her go-to method became, how she dealt with things was to clam up, close down, because she was told to go to her room and get over it. And so she had learned to kind of go to her room and get over it. So now she doesn't do it symbolically. She doesn't literally go to her room, but she just closes down, shuts off, brings in, this is where resentments build up. This is where anger builds up, because, you're the one that's just got to go suck it up and go deal with it. When really the trigger is the situation that's going on at the time. This really started many, many years back. And so when we have done that kind of healing with her, we go back to that little girl who was told to go to her room, who was told to shut up, who was told to not come out until she could behave, who was told that, she needed to keep her mouth shut, and that, when she was ready to be a good girl, she could come out. And those had all affected her in her relationships today. So when we go back there, we work on all those belief systems. We talk about that. We give that little girl, which is really her, but her at age 6, age 7, age 8, whenever that is for her, what she needed. We bring in that safety and security. We bring in those thought processes for her, help her process that, work on releasing that energy in there, inside of her physical body, inside of her. And once we do that, that little girl feels free. That little girl is no longer triggered up by all of these things that are going on, and she's able to walk out of that. I always ask my clients if they can walk out of the room, because once that little girl can walk out of that room and we're out in nature, or we're out on the playground, or we're out doing things that little girls should be doing anyway, or boys, we won't specifically, because I do work with men as well. I do work mostly with women, but I do have the male clients as well. But once they can walk out of there and walk into a different room, that's when we know we're good. that's when we know the healing is complete for that situation. And we can move on and do something else. And so that's the process that I take you to. And another thing that I've added in this year, which has been so helpful, because I've been doing this work for a long time, and I realized probably last year at this time that I was missing one key important part. Because as we do this healing work, we need to get our physical body on board with the work that we are doing, because our body has learned a way of coping with life. And so now I have added in nervous system regulation, and I work with my clients now to help them bring this safety and security, because that's really what this nervous system is looking for, is a way to feel safe and secure. And before, if it's been anxiety or shutting down, or, all of the places, that freezing mode, the fawn mode, if the fear comes in, all of these areas, we reteach the body how to react in these situations. And this is a daily practice. This is something that needs to come in on a daily basis. But this is something that I have added in this year for a little extra added little punch to healing, because I want my clients to be able to go home, because it's marvelous when we go do this healing session, but then if you go home and you wake up panicked in the morning and don't know what to do with it, this is part of that integration process of integrating in the work that we've done. And we need to reassure our bodies, reassure our nervous system that we're going to be okay and that we are still safe, even though we don't have all of that baggage that we had yesterday. So this has been a cool thing that I have added in here just recently. Adding in this nervous system regulation, helping you learn to slow your body down, to retrain it to be in a state of peace. And because that's really what we're looking for, right? Like, that's what we all need. We've taught our bodies how to react. We have to reteach it how to act again, knowing that we're not in those fear places anymore. We don't have to stay there. We don't have to be in that place of fear. That it's okay to step forward in a different way and in a different light and do things a little differently. So that's kind of how these sessions would go. This is kind of what it offers for you. I absolutely love the healing aspect of life. I love watching people make massive, and I am telling you, massive amounts of changes. It is not that we are broken. It's just those true, authentic parts of ourselves get covered up in all of the things that go on in our lives. We build up these belief systems. We think that we are unworthy. We think that we are undeserving. We think that we don't deserve to have good relationships or good love or good people in our lives, that, maybe we feel that you cause all sorts of issues, and again, here, this is where we can address the people pleasing and really, giving too much away of ourselves and not taking care of ourselves, not loving ourselves enough to step into that place of self-care and self-love. To me, this healing work that we do is teaching us to love ourselves unconditionally again, because that is our true, authentic spiritual place. Really loving ourselves, loving the world, loving it just as it is, not in as we want it or those expectations that come in, and allowing ourselves to be in a place of peace. And this is what intuitive healing offers you. It offers it to me. It offers it to the world if we choose to embrace it. As you can see, it's a very kind of a different aspect of, say, talk therapy or going and seeing your therapist, but it really has been the one thing in my life that has made the biggest difference for myself and for my clients, which is why I preach it hands down. I will tell everybody any day of the week to start a healing program with a high healer, with someone who can help you get to that next level. How do we find these people? Watch them on social media. They're all over there. If you see somebody talking, I have unfollowed so many people this year, because once they start talking about gloom and doom, they start talking about all the bad things that are going to happen, and they've lost that insight into what this is really all about. I'm out, because they're not in that high vibe and energy. I want someone who can help Lead me, guide me to that next level. And that's what you should be looking for too. Look for people that you look up to. Look for people who their vibration is high. They feel yummy to be around. You should want to be around that energy. You should want more of that energy. Those are the type of the people who are out there to truly serve in this world. And those are the type of the people that you want helping you get to where you want to be. If this is something that's calling to you, I have many programs to get you started. I've just opened up Soul School. Soul School is going to be all about, these are pre-recorded classes that you can watch, do the exercises, and really start. This is a good way, even if you've been on a healing journey, this will be a good way for you to spend time every day. We're going to talk about balancing your nervous system. You're going to work through different scenarios, different expectations, boundaries, people pleasing, learning to love yourself again, really stepping into all aspects of healing through in Soul School. And you also have access to all my recorded classes that I have recorded, healing weeks, all of the things will be in Soul School that you'll have access to really anything that can help you better your life will be part of my Soul School program. So right now, Soul School is open. You can come and you can join. The actual Soul School will start here in just a few weeks. And that's when you'll start getting weekly recorded classes with these exercises and with things for you to do that you can do at home to start helping yourself live your best life. My goal, my mission, my vision for this world is to help everybody step out of the bullshit. Step out of their past, step out of their limitations, and understand that you're here to have an experience. You're here to experience this beautiful physical world and all it has to offer. And you're here to do it with grace and dignity and really learning to love yourself again. And none of that loving yourself again includes anything that makes you feel less than or degraded. I will warn you that as you step into this healing process, your life will change. It'll change in a big way. And you cannot unring that bell. It's a good bell to ring, but it changes the way that you see the world in a good way. It changes relationships. I remember when I did my mediumship development, and the first thing my mentor said was look around at the relationships that you have, because some of these relationships will go away because you will no longer be an energetic match. You cannot do this work. You cannot start going through this process of changing and morphing and not have relationships change as well. Now, some of my relationships, it has been phenomenal. My relationship with my husband has changed 100-fold. And we can talk more about that. My relationship with my kids has changed in a big way. It's caused them to be uneasy at times because they don't know how to deal with me anymore. They don't know who their mom is anymore. My friend relationships, some of those relationships have slept off. Some of family relationships have slept off because once you understand the fundamentals, things are going to shift for you in your life. It's all in it for a good reason. Some of those relationships have come back around over the years. Others have not. Others will not. And it's okay. All of it is okay. But it's really learning to live the best version of you, which may mean leaving some people behind. People get scared when I say that. I don't want you to be afraid, but I want you to just understand it's part of the process. It's part of the healing process. And once we can embrace that and see it for what it is, and understand that, what I need to do that in order for me to step forward. I need to let go of some of these things in order for me to step forward in a new way and to step into my true authentic self. And that can be a little rough. This is great when you have someone who can support you through that. The other way that you can come is come and join me for healing sessions. I have package deals. You can come buy package deals and do multiple healing sessions. But the one way that you can work with me on a very deep level is to come and join me for private coaching. This is where we can talk every day. If that's what you need, if that's what you desire, we'll do healing sessions twice a month. We can talk through Voxer. I love Voxer. If you don't know about Voxer, it's like I can just speak into the microphone and talk to you, and we can have conversations back and forth all day long if that's what you need to help you really work through your day-to-day issues and help you on a much deeper level. And that really is the most supportive way to really dive deep into a healing session. So those are some of the things. I hope this has been helpful for you today. My goal for you is to understand really, this is kind of a gray area. You hear a lot about intuitive healing and what is intuitive healing. This is what it is for me. This is what it is that I offer to the world. And the reason I offer it is because I've seen the changes that it has made in my life, and there is no going back. There is no undoing any of that. It's really stepping forward in this new way, stepping into my true authentic self and allowing you to do the same, and doing it in the most unconditional, loving, kind way that there is. So I hope that is very helpful for you. Tune into part 2. I'm going to talk about why you would seek out an intuitive healer. We'll talk about some other parts of healing. So I will see you on the next podcast. Thank you for being here today. Have a marvelous day and happy healing, everyone. Bye-bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening today. I sincerely hope that you enjoyed this podcast. I would love to hear from you. You can reach out to me by email at ginastrole@ginastrole.com. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as Gina Strole Intuitive Healing. You can also find the full podcast videos on my YouTube channel as Gina Strole Intuitive Healing. If you are interested in working with me, or you would like more information about any of the healing programs that I offer, you can find that information on my website at ginastrole.com. And of course, don't forget that sharing is caring. Share this podcast with a friend and help spread the healing energy around the world. Thank you for listening and joining me today, and I can't wait to connect up with you again.